Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club. It's me, Brandon. I'm here, and it's the end of October. It's getting spooky in here, and I've got my friends here to help me, to hold my hand, to hug me, to cower in fear together. I got Will.
Woo!
I also got Ills.
Can we just not hold hands?
We have to. It's in the contract. And we got Saf.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I've been kidnapped. Please help. Please. I don't know these people.
Nobody help him. He's making a goof. And we got Noah.
Spooky times are going to be had.
Noah, I saved you for last because you picked this week's game.
I did. I picked Discworld Noir.
Did.
And, it was a game.
It was a game. We played Discworld Noir this week. And let me give you a little background about this game. It is a 1999 adventure point-and-click game. It was released on Windows and PlayStation. 1999 for Windows, 2000 for PlayStation, which is kind of a late PlayStation game. It was developed by Perfect Entertainment and published by GT Interactive. So this game is set in the Discworld universe.
Yeah.
Which is a book series written
Long-standing.
by a British man, and his name is Terry Pratchett. If you don't know anything about him, then you probably live in America or outside of outside of England, probably.
Or you don't like reading.
Or
He's
that,
great, though.
or that too. Yes, it's true. This game was never released outside of Europe, and the reason for that, actually, because if you are living in America and you do know about Discworld, the first two Discworld games did come out in America. This one did not, as a result of the closure of GT Interactive, and maybe because Discworld didn't sell that well in America.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And I mean, Discworld, yeah, like you mentioned, is it's very British, just in its sensibility and its writing, in the cast that's in it. It's extremely British.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes, it definitely is. Definitely is. Like I said, Terry Pratchett. He's written a lot of books. There's like 40-something Discworld books. And this game actually, so there was the other two Discworld games we mentioned, were based on his books, and this one was not.
Mm-hmm.
This was
one
an
was
original
also
story.
not necessarily written by Pratchett. He gave the outline for it, but a different guy named Chris Bateman did a lot of the actual, like, putting pen to paper on it.
Yeah, so like the Dragon Ball GT of Discworld, maybe.
Well, at least I don't have to hate
but-
Terry Pratchett after this one then.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get really any further, Noah, like I said, you picked this game. So why don't you tell the people out there why you picked this game? We all have reasons why we choose a game. So
Yeah.
why did you make us play this?
Well, basically, because this is one of those games that my brother had gotten for the PlayStation, and I have, like, very vague memories, but I always liked the genre of noir.
Mhm.
Or noir, I don't know how you guys pronounce it.
Noir.
And, like, generally detective games are, like, really caught my interest. And, like, when I was a kid, like, I had some, like, really weird scenes stuck in my head from the game that were, like, I thought were cool, but also very creepy and strange at the same time. So I just wanted to, like, revisit it and see what it was all about, really.
Okay, that's a cool backstory. But you brought us all along for the ride, and what a ride it was.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we couldn't get a hold of the PC version, which is ultimately the much better version, the PS1 port suffers greatly and was not a great port.
I was about to ask, as a child, did you have a PlayStation mouse, Noah?
No.
Okay, because
Yeah.
this game used the PlayStation mouse.
Yes,
The-
one of
the
very
Mario-
few games that did.
The Mario Paint of the PlayStation 1.
Well, we have to make sure we thank Trey for using his dark internet
Oh
magic.
yeah, thanks to our friend
That's
Trey, we were able to actually get a version of the PS1 game.
Yeah, we went
Because
through
we
hell.
could not find
so-
it anywhere.
Yeah, Trey, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Because
first-
we were having a hard time finding a copy of this game to play.
At first, when he was explaining, I thought I was gonna like have to install Windows XP or something, and I was like, "This is a lot for the game club. I don't know." But we figured out a way where we don't have to. So that's.
He was saying
yeah.
something like that at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was trying to get the PC version to work, but it was way too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna
we
have to
set up for the PS1 version.
make our computers go back to like 1998 to like play this game. Which I was like, oh geez, this is gonna be a process. But luckily, yes, we didn't have to do that. We were able to play the PlayStation version. Very a
unluckily.
few times I didn't, go out and buy a copy of this game because I couldn't, unless I
Near
wanted
impossible to.
Yeah. I mean, I could have, but I would have had to buy a PlayStation from Europe as well. Which come on, out of the question. We're not doing that.
Oh, Brandon, before we get into it, one brief mention about the PS1 version while we're on it.
Sure.
It was not actually the PS1 version was actually developed by another studio,
Yes, it was.
and their name, Teeny Weeny Games.
Teeny Weeny Games. Well, they were. Teeny Weeny Games was a resurrection form of Perfect Entertainment after they got shut down. So they're still pretty much the same people.
But just
They made a
Teeny
weird
Weeny
list of games. I looked it up, but I was like, well, they made a lot of weird licensed games. Not like the classic WWF WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge for the Game Gear.
Oh baby, there's so many words in that sentence. Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Always interesting to me to look back. There was also I looked it up too. There was a Dreamcast version of this game planned, Discworld Noir, which got canned.
Because the one other game they made as Teeny Weeny Games was the Dreamcast game called World's Scariest Police Chases.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that entails.
That's a future Game Club game right there.
Oh
See
baby.
it coming already.
This is really scary stuff. Truly living up to the hype.
Yeah.
So let's get into the gameplay here with Discworld. As I said earlier, it's an adventure game, and it's point and click. So it follows a lot of tropes that point and click games did back in the day. Lots of very dialogue heavy and story driven. Okay, so if you never played a point and click game, basically you don't control the character directly as much as you kind of point on things. You get like one set screen. You point and click around to direct your character where to go and interact with different things in the environment. And doing so, you can talk to people, you can use items on other things in the environment to try to progress the game through dialogue choices or interacting with things. Using the right item or the right conversation point in the right place is how you progress through these kind of games.
Now, Brandon, you said the term point and click. I would like to correct it to slowly scroll over and click. Because the process of moving the cursor around in this game on the PS1 version,
yes, and I used the controller the whole time, and it was a slog to say the least. Sometimes to move that thing around. Sometimes it would zoom around at 100 miles an hour. Sometimes it would go slower than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Now, I will say, I mean, a detective story is like a good vessel for a point-and-click game, right? Like,
most definitely.
So much of a detective is interacting with people, is like looking at the environment, trying to find clues. You're like, oh, this is a good idea. One of the things that I would like to see that this game could have done, I think, is like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I played it in an emulator. After I got through like Act 3, I put the game at 1.5 times speed because everyone talks very slowly and everything loads very slowly otherwise.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah, and so like it's the game that like, if they just speed it up a little bit, just everything could be a little bit faster, and that sort of permeates every single part of it.
Although I did watch a little bit of the PC version, it looks like the dialogue loads faster, but also it almost highlights. We'll get into this. The dialogue loading faster almost highlights how badly the dialogue was put together.
Yeah, I think that might be right.
which I didn't notice until I watched just a clip, because we were looking for a funny clip during the game because I wanted to show it to you guys and I found the PC version, and rewatching it I was like, whoa, okay, they talk a lot faster. You can't tell the load times when they're loading each dialogue bit, but because it's all strung together, like their voices, like it sounded like a weird jumble of stuff.
It sounds so fucking weird. Like there's no emotional cohesiveness to anything they're saying.
Which is weird because on the PS1 version I thought it sounded pretty good.
Yeah. No, like the voice acting in general in the game, I really liked it. Like it was really good. Like it gave a lot of personality to every character in the game.
Yeah, I enjoyed some of them a lot. Like Luton's voice was pretty good.
See, I didn't like Luton.
I loved the butler, the butler in the Vault Mansion.
Yeah,
there's a lot of interesting characters.
So the funny thing, is that the voice acting is like it was 4 people.
Whoa.
Mostly, like 90% of it.
4 people, yes.
Yeah, and Rob Brydon, who's the only name that I recognize because he's since gone on to be like a bigger star in BBC type stuff. But like, it's very funny because like you can very clearly tell it is like all of them just like putting on voices. Like even Luton, who's the main character, it's this very clearly British man trying to do like a hardcore, like hard-boiled detective voice, and it doesn't quite work for me, but like it kind of made me laugh more because it didn't quite make sense. Like it wasn't like he was actually going for a straight I'm being a detective, because the whole game is sort of a parody of it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's what kind of added to it. Like he's a comedian first, like he's a stand-up comedian, and he is mostly a comedic actor. So his kind of style is quite suited for Luton. Like it's, as you mentioned before, it's supposed to be a parody, and I feel as though like his voice acting kind of brought a lot of humor to it.
Yeah, I nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did a good job, and I for the most part, I enjoyed Luton, and the acting was good for a lot of characters. Some a lot better than others, and the writing was pretty good. The jokes were, for me at least, hit and miss.
Extremely dad jokes.
I love the jokes. Yeah. I loved all the jokes.
Extremely from Luton, extremely dad jokes. But then there was other jokes that I was very like, I don't know. It really was just a miss for me, because that's what it is. British humor sometimes for me, it's like sometimes it's a home run. Other times I'm like, eh.
It's funny because I looked this up later because I remember it, because one of my favorite characters in Discworld, as like with the stuff I've engaged with, is Death. He's great, right? And
I love definitely best character.
Yeah, and it's a situation where Terry Pratchett always writes for Death. It's the one character he's like, if he's in a scene in anything, I want to do it. And the scenes where Death is in this game, spoiler alert, I guess, like, I laughed more. And I was like, oh, you could feel the writer difference, right? The person that's trying to sort of imitate the writing style of the guy versus the actual guy who is the original voice that, defined a lot of the series' sensibilities. And I thought that was interesting. That I noticed it without even having to look that up. And then like later I was like, oh, that's why I felt that way.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But Death is definitely the strongest character in me in terms of writing and jokes. He was consistently, I was kind of chuckling when listening to him talk. But then the rest of the characters was like, sometimes I'd be like, huh. And then other times I'd be like, I know that was supposed to be a joke, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm so glad that you guys beat it, because I was afraid that you would kind of give up on it, and then you would never experience death.
Yeah.
Well, also, I can't believe it. I didn't mention it at the beginning of the podcast. We did it, guys. 4 in a row. Give yourselves a hand, guys. Give yourselves.
The streak continues. Yeah. We did it.
The streak is going on. We're challenging the Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania officially now. Okay, so 22-0. That's our goal. Maybe even
Let's
further.
do this.
Yeah, and this was the longest game that we all beat, I think. Right? Like, I don't know what was our overall play times now that I think about it.
Too long.
I guess too long.
Yeah. I wanted to die. I wanted to die throughout all of it.
Yeah. At the beginning, I came in very optimistic. But by the end, I was almost crying, just being like, can this game just be over?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like, I get it. It's like, it was a very bad port. The visuals were not pleasing at all, but as it was going, like after Act 3, when things started to get like heating up and like the twists were starting to come in, like it caught me. I was really interested in the story itself. Not the actual gameplay, but there was not much gameplay anyway because it's a click-a-point game. Navigating around the town was a little bit of a chore, more than it should have been. But overall, like the story and the whole like setting and the characters, like it really kept me interesting. And like I went through like the end with a smile.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I really wanted to like this game. Are we going into criticisms of the game, more deep criticism?
Oh, might as well.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
okay.
no... We're unscripted here. We can do how...
No, I just wanted to make sure we were past the initial
We
part.
can do criticisms anytime, even if you want to bust them out the gate.
Okay, so I really wanted to like this game. Like, I like the noir genre, and I like fantasy, and I like dark fantasy and all that stuff. So, and this game is pretty ambitious. But the gameplay, oh dear God. Like, the loading every 5 seconds, the slow talking, the deductive leaps they want you to make in order to move. Oh my God, it's so frustrating.
yeah.
And as Saf will point out, the lighting, too.
Lighting.
Oh, it's ass. It is ass. I could not see shit. I could barely see anything in that game. Like, there was a point in, and I know you guys experienced this, there's a point in Dagenham Street where you go into a shop, or like in a restaurant or something like that, and you can, if you hover around the black side of the screen, you see a title for pots, but you don't see any pots just because of how dark it is. You just know because the game is telling you that there's pots. And it is just absolutely ridiculous. And there's quite a few different parts of this game that does that. Like even in Newton's office, where it's like there's a coffee machine there, but it tells you there's a coffee machine there, but you can't see it.
Because it's too dark, yeah.
Yeah, there was times where I had to just look at the thing and
Scan the screen with your mouse to see if there's anything there.
Yep.
Yeah, and also, you know, even during scenes, there was one scene where you pull out a carriage out of a river and there's a dead guy on it. Honestly, because of just the art, just the way it looked, I had no idea there was a guy on it at all. It looked like
I
a
didn't see the fucking
jumbled mess of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell what the hell I was looking at.
Yeah. I mean, if we can get into spoilers, I guess, be aware.
Well, I seriously doubt anyone will be playing this
I know.
game considering how difficult it is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but like, if you be aware. So there's one of the twists along the game is you become a werewolf midway through, and
It's a cool twist.
it's a cool twist. But then they're like, you have these two things where you can use your like sensitive nose to like notice scents and stuff. And every time you go into it, the camera does this little shake back and forth the entire time. And the first time it happened, I thought, oh, maybe this will just be like the initial transformation thing. And I asked Brandon and Ills, and they were like, nah, dude, that's it for the rest of the game.
I think that was more like a thing to like make it so like you're in first person view, like to make it more immersive. And it was okay.
It just gave me, I got a genuine headache from it. I was just like, yeah, it messed with me. I was like, ugh.
I thought it was cool.
I like the idea of it. I didn't like that it meant that I had to collect a whole new bunch of clues from that.
Yeah.
The execution is
That's
identical.
the thing. Like, I found it
didn't-
interesting because then that means like, oh, now I can finally find out who the fucking murderer was, or like get a lead. So like going back to all those murder scenes and like seeing all the different scents and who was there and everything, like I thought it was really cool. Like I really liked that new mechanic they added at the end there.
Yeah, I just didn't want to collect more stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
At that point,
you can call it a new mechanic, but it didn't feel like a new mechanic because it was exactly the same, just presented in a different way. It's
You were
like,
picking a different icon, but
It
doing the
still
same
felt
thing.
fresh though.
It's like a cake, but it's a different flavor of cake. There's chocolate and vanilla. They're both still cake. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like
It's. Well, I mean, the thing is, I think this is true by and large of the game. Is that like, you know, there's I like the thing where you have the notebook with all the different points of information that you've gathered, right? And so you like use it on people.
that's cool. But the problem comes down with it is having
There's
to
too
use
many.
every clue. There's too
Yeah,
much.
they give you like 20, and you're like, I can't cross-referencing 20 of these. Like, you know, with it, like there will be a topic and then subcategories underneath it, and you're like, I wish I could just do like Sapphire. Instead of like Sapphire's money trouble, Sapphire's luck, Sapphire's history, just Sapphire. Just let me just pick that, because that's as far as I needed to basically go to feel like I solved the puzzle.
Through it, like the actual like getting through, like it was like cumbersome to like have to bring it up and to like get through them. Like if you wanted to go back a page, you had to like go fucking slowly scroll your shit to the top and like hit X, and then I don't know, like flipping through the page. Sometimes I'd get lost. I'd be like,
if you're using a controller, you can use the shoulder buttons to get through the pages fast.
Yeah.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, game, for telling me that.
Yeah, they
fucking beat the whole damn game.
That's another thing. It's like
it's funny, like the game doesn't explain the controls at all, except when the werewolf section begins. Then they give you a full tutorial. I'm like, wow, okay, that could have used that.
Yeah, like there's two different ways. Me and Noah were talking about this. There's fucking. It doesn't tell you this, but there's two different ways to examine things, right? There's like two different buttons. One does one thing, one does another.
One's like examine, the other one's use.
Yeah.
Also,
I now realize.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like they do tell you some of the controls in the beginning. Like if you go into the main menu and you click on control setup, they actually explain some of them, but it still don't explain to you all of the controls at all. And it's very counter productive when it comes to like actually playing this game, because there are a few occasions where you would need to do something and you would need to you would need to use a specific mechanic, but the game doesn't hint to you about that mechanic at all. Like, there was a point in time where I had to find a hiding place for someone, and I had no idea that you can hit the shoulder button, pull up a map by itself, and be able to click a hiding space. Like, I had no idea that was a thing, and I was so confused. I was going to different places and going to visit different areas. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Until I discovered the fucking shoulder button thing. It's like,
what the fuck am I supposed to do is the thing I probably said the most while playing.
It's basically the tagline for this game.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's just like a lot sometimes with the puzzle solving and with the way that, you know, like if it was faster paced, you know, like, and you could like try more things more quickly, it wouldn't be as bad. The fact that there's so many options and that it is so slow combines to make really frustrating.
And after every option,
I think they expected us to be real detectives here.
And like after every
real detectives.
Every time you choose an option, you get like a dialogue tree to fucking wade through.
Oh yeah.
I guess we should mention, speaking of dialogue, we haven't really said the premise of the game besides the fact that you become a werewolf midway through.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you play as Luton. He's a private investigator, and he's a private investigator for the city of Ankh-Morpork, which is, I guess, the biggest city in all of Discworld. And, you know, the city's filled with crime. He used to be, I think he used to be on the Watch, which is kind of like their police force.
Yeah.
And he, you know, gets approached. Typical classic noir. I guess the whole game's kind of a cliche on noir. So, you know, of course, beautiful woman walks in at the beginning.
Femme fatale.
Wants him to, you know, find somebody for her. So there you go. All of a sudden, yeah, sure, I'll find this person. Leads into him finding a bunch, getting roped into, you know, investigating a huge murder case with multiple murders, and also eventually finding himself as part of a cult and some gods and all sorts of weird, crazy stuff is going on.
Gets Lovecraftian.
It goes down at the end. You literally summon Cthulhu.
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah. And the thing
and I forgot to mention that this world is full of trolls, vampires, gargoyles, humans, elves, dwarves. Like, it's any creature you can pretty much think of.
Zombies even at some point.
And a talking dog. The craziest thing of all.
Talking dog, and also the Grim Reaper, but not just the Grim Reaper, also the Grim Squeaker.
Grim Squeaker.
God bless.
Got it. Oh, man.
Which, I'll tell you, that dialogue, that joke went on for way too long. I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. All right, okay, all right. And then it was the same joke over and over again for like fucking 2 minutes. I was like, I get it. It's kind of funny, but stop.
That's the thing.
I just like skipped through the dialogue because all it was like squeaking.
Oh, yeah. By the end of Act 2, I was skipping through everything. I didn't have time for that shit anymore.
didn't have time for that shit either. I was doing that at some points too. I was just like, all right, I don't care what they're saying right now.
Yeah, there was I think there was like one or two characters like Rodan. I didn't care to listen to his dialogue. I skipped through his dialogue most of the time.
Oh yeah.
But for everybody else, I sat there and listened because it was fun to listen to.
We didn't really note the graphics as well. Everything is oh god damn it. Why is it's slipping through my mind right now. The name of everything is the background is a static image, right?
Pre-rendered.
Pre-rendered. There we go. Thank you, Will.
No problem.
Yeah, pre-rendered. There's all these pre-rendered images, and Luton's really the only fully 3D model that's going on at all times.
Because he moves everywhere.
Because he's the one who moves around, yeah. So it kind of looks weird sometimes. Like I said, sometimes it looks good. Sometimes it looks pretty cool. Often it's very dark, and sometimes it's a pixelated mess, and you can't even tell what you're looking at. Like in the case of that carriage with apparently a dead guy on it.
I thought for the most part that the graphics were pretty good. I mean, besides the lighting, everything else was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was aware of the first two Discworld games before of this game, and like those games were very bright and cheery and colorful, so you can definitely feel like they sort of wanted to go down like a different path with this one. Yeah, I mean, obviously noir literally means like black, you know, and so, you know, like obviously you're going for dark tones. I actually like the music a lot. It wasn't like, you know, it was clearly a lot of takes off of sort of the traditional like tropes that come with even the music in noir films. Like there was one song that was very clearly based off of one of the main themes from Casablanca, and like I noticed it and like I looked it up, and that's what it was supposed to be a takeoff of, and you're like, oh, that's fun. I mean, there's a ton of Casablanca references throughout the entire game. The game ends with, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship, you know, like it's fully aware of the stuff that it's building off of, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and I like the music. I like, you know, that smooth jazz style. You know, obviously it fits in right with the style they're going for with noir, and I enjoyed it. There was a lot of like times where there just wasn't music.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this could benefit from a little bit of music right now.
Mm-hmm. It's this thing where there's a lot of stuff that like I can like about this game when I sit down and talk about it, but the game gets in the way a whole lot, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like the actual part of
I could say the game. Right, exactly. There's a lot of things I like about this game. The voice acting, the story itself, you know, I enjoyed it, but it's the actual going through and playing the game. I wanted to just play anything else.
Yeah, this is a game. This is a game like perfect to watch a let's play of, because I mean, playing it yourself is not fun.
No,
let's just put that out there right here now. It's not fun.
Yeah. And go to the YouTube player and set it at 1.5 times speed, and that's the optimal experience for Discworld Noir. Yeah, I think that's the general take, is like that there's stuff here that is neat, but I don't know. Like there's just times where also they lead you astray. Like, and I don't know if it's supposed to. There's times in this game where I'm like, is that supposed to be funny, or is that just they kind of goofed it up a little bit?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about the fucking tooth on the mausoleum?
Well, I mean, that's part of it. Yeah, it's just like there's a ton of different times.
Yeah.
Like at the very end of the game, there's a part where he's like, "Oh, sorry, go ahead, Saf."
Yeah, no. So I was going to say, I remember that one specific instance. Like they specifically warn against taking a particular item from a graveyard because they're warning of the threat of the Guild of Assassins, or like the family that owns it might send someone to kill you or something like that. And they go out of their way to warn you not to get this item. But you kind of need this item, so you're going to have to take it anyway. So I ignored it. I got to an area where I needed it, and I'm like, what do I do here? And then I had to just go through that whole rigmarole, like, where the fuck do I go?
Yeah, and there's just like little moments. Like at the very end of the game, there's like rubble around, and he's like, I have to clear off this rubble. And it's a single rock he just kicks, and you're like,
oh god.
Was that supposed to be funny? I don't know. Like...
It was so
I laughed.
Stupid.
Yeah, I laughed because I was like, I thought that was dumb, but like, was that supposed to be dumb? Like, this game's supposed to be funny, but like, I don't know if they're doing it in that way. Like, I almost certainly a moment that's not supposed to be funny, but is. There's a part where Luton shoves a large troll off a bridge.
It's so cringe. Oh, man.
He's like a bouncy ball. Like he just flies right off like he's made of helium, and you're like,
It's such a weird, like, jolting thing because it'll go to this FMV cutscene with like that is not even fucking 5 seconds long. I don't think. And it's just Luton runs up to him and with like the sound effect of just 2 tap shoes like running on fucking floorboard, and then the fucking troll just goes flying.
Yeah, the troll's like a fucking mountain. He
yeah.
flies
And it's also
off like a fucking piece of paper.
And it's like a big moment.
The only excuse I can come up with for that is he got like insane amount of strength because he's a werewolf now, but I don't think he's still be able to bounce him that fucking far.
Yeah.
And
And these trolls are supposed to be really, really fucking tough. Like, they highlight that in the game itself. It's like they're fucking
made of stone.
Yeah, this character. Yeah.
Shit. Sorry.
He says multiple times, "I could snap your head, like pop your head like a grape. I could snap your back, no problem." But all it takes is a light breeze, and he's just falling to his death. You're like, all right, dude. So, I mean, I laughed at that part. I don't know if I was supposed to.
That was a good moment.
But yeah. So, it's a weird game. Just like, I didn't know how to feel throughout a whole lot of it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I knew how to feel. It was fucking angry.
I didn't know how they wanted me to feel, I guess.
I don't think we talked about the fact that it's a kind of an open world game, sort of. I mean, like, not open world the way we think of it now, but like, there's a map, you have certain places you can go, but you can go there in any order, and you can go there at any time, basically.
Oh yeah, the game's not linear. In the sense that you can go through events like your own way, I guess.
Right, and I think that's like half of its fault.
Yeah,
is that it's so open, and you have so many clues that you spend so much unnecessary time going to these places, talking to these people, using every clue you have on them, going to, all sorts of random things in the environment and interacting them with every single thing you have until something pops. Because a lot of times, it's nonsense. Like, I had I had to use a tooth to open up a glass case. Oh, I definitely knew I had to do that. Like,
that was a diamond tooth.
Stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. There's a lot of specific instances where I used it just because I was running out of things to do, and then I was like, oh, there we go. Here we go. Now I got another clue. So I got a new one. I got to go click on everything with this one. Oh boy, it was that. Those kind of games have gotten much better, I will say, throughout the years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the adventure games.
Point and click as a genre.
Yeah.
Has really reached a stride. Like, when you think of point and click games nowadays, I mean, we played, kind of like one, a few episodes ago when we played
Ghost Trick.
Ghost Trick.
Oh yeah,
Zack and Wiki and Ghost Trick, 2 games that you could consider point and click games, and they've definitely shown that the genre has evolved a lot. This game I think was a step in the right direction. I think.
Yeah.
But it still has a lot of things from early point and click games that were very bad. At least it does do, it has 4 chapters. Mm-hmm. So each chapter, it gets rid of certain items or clues that you can use in
areas you don't
have to visit anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you got that. So it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should have removed the things that you didn't need much faster.
Oh, yeah.
And they should have given you way more like ideas what the fuck they expected from you. It was like it was really, really difficult to parse out what they wanted.
Yeah. And I think the game overall could have maybe benefited from, I don't know if cutting would be the right word, but like Act 4 was a lot shorter than the rest of the acts. And I liked it a lot more, I think, because of it. At least, maybe it's because I already figured out most of the game at that point. But like I sort of, because also there was more of a narrative thrust going on, like the big event had happened and like you were trying to solve that problem, versus sort of like, I'm talking to this troll who's a singer at this bar, and like she has something going on, but like where do I go from here? Like that type of stuff is where I was sort of felt lost and like was not engaged with the game.
And that's what I think is probably what gives these modern takes on point-and-click games more advantage over these older ones, in that their stories or their style is a lot more linear than the point-and-click games of old, where it's just like, it's just, as Bill said, it's an open-world game, and the number of possibilities of what you can do or what you can possibly go to are endless. It's ridiculous.
Well, right, it is ridiculous. You're right, because if a game is like this, right, like a point and click where the gameplay itself is very shallow, I think it benefits from being linear because it gets you into the best part, which is the story and the narrative-driven stuff. You know, that's why you're here playing a game like this for the most part. So, you know, if it is more linear, it gets you to these parts faster, which just makes the game, you know, it makes you not realize that, oh, really all I'm doing is basically watching a movie with a little bit of interactive. But with Discworld, there's so much downtime of trying to get to that next point where you're like just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
It makes the game, it makes the flaws and makes you realize I'm not really playing a game stand out even more. It makes you frustrated and makes you want to go play anything else.
Yeah. I felt like
that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, and I think even in games that are of a similar time frame, right, which is games like Day of the Tentacle, games like Grim Fandango, stuff like that, like, when you have these more open design point-and-click adventure games, and a lot of times, like, the reason that you're not supposed to get frustrated at trying all these different things is that, like, the dialogue in and of itself is supposed to be kind of fun, right? Like, even if you mess something up, you'll get a funny line or just enough of an interesting thing to come out of it that you don't get frustrated. And I think that's my biggest problem with Discworld, is that there was times where where you're going around doing that and it wasn't like funny enough or engaging enough for me to really like not feel the drain of just the trial and error process, because you have to do it so many times, right? Like there's no way you could write enough lines for that to be funny, you know, to be interesting.
It just kind of gets grating. And to the point of what Brandon was saying, I felt like 70% of my time in this game was just being stuck. Like, and that's unacceptable, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, if it had a more focused narrative drive and got me to where it wanted me to go quicker, I wouldn't have felt so fucking frustrated and annoyed.
Yep. That pretty much hits the nail on the head right there in terms of what could have made this game better.
For sure.
Which, luckily, the genre seems to have, corrected almost all those mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was thinking earlier, before I played this game, that I was finally reconciling with this genre, because I've always hated this genre for so long. But after playing like Tales from the Borderlands and Ghost Trick, I was finally feeling like maybe I was giving it too hard a time. But this game fucking got me right back in fucking hating the genre.
The thing is, you played.
It is a 1990 game, so.
Yeah, and you played really good examples of how they made it better.
Yeah.
So, maybe you shouldn't be too hard on the genre just because.
I think I'm gonna be harder than that.
Well,
there we are.
There's games you're missing out on that are really good nowadays.
We'll see. I don't know. I've been burned too many times.
Yeah. Well, if this was your first foray into it, I could see why you'd be really, I don't know if I want to play any more of these type of games. But that being said, guys, I think it's time to move on to recommendations. Everybody who's been listening, and I think they might have already garnered recommendations. We got to put them out there officially. We got to put them on the record. And we're going to start with Noah because he's the guy who picked the game.
Yeah, I'd only recommend this if you're into point-and-click games and like noir and interesting world building or characters. Otherwise, don't play it.
Saf.
I wouldn't recommend this game, at all. And there's no reason to play it. I don't even think there's a reason to watch a Let's Play of it, to be honest with you. Terry Pratchett's name is on it, but you can see Terry Pratchett's stuff in other mediums. Death is the best character in this game, my favorite character in this game, and Death is in almost everything of Terry Pratchett. so you can read his book. Just fucking read Terry Pratchett. Don't bother with this shit. Just read Terry Pratchett's book.
Yeah.
Will.
Sort of like what Saf said, if you are already established as a fan of Discworld and you want to see like a weird little side thing, go onto youtube.com and set it to 1.5 times speed and watch a long play of it. You know, like, that's sort of where I'm at with it. So, by and large, to 99% of people, no.
Bills?
What they all said, one and done. Get the shit on a Let's Play. Don't fucking play.
And I'm gonna have to agree with all you guys. The answer is I would not recommend this. Not to anybody. Maybe if you're British. Maybe if you said, hey, I like Discworld, I'd say, hey, I played a Discworld game one time. I didn't like it.
I'm British. I say fuck that.
But
no.
But yeah, I mean, the story was interesting. Go watch a Let's Play of it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now it's time for the final judgment. Discworld Noir. It's going on the list.
The
list.
All right, Noah, you picked this game, so you get the first say where you think this game goes on the list.
As much as I enjoyed the story and the characters, it's incredibly obvious of its flaws and how frustrating the game was in general. So it's inevitably gonna go all to the bottom. I'm looking at just above Knack.
I knew it!
You know what? I'm cool with that, actually. That's where I was thinking, Noah. See, so you got me, dude.
Yeah, I'm good
That's
with that.
fair as fuck.
I would put it underneath Blinks.
God damn.
It wasn't that bad.
I'd rather
with
play
Blinks. You were
it's a
incredibly
game.
frustrated the whole time, and you didn't like anything about the game.
Yeah, that's the
whereas
thing.
At least Discworld Noir had interesting characters
Yeah.
and story.
But while I was playing Discworld Noir, I fucking was craving to play a game.
yeah,
But not
game.
Blinks.
I don't know.
Not Blinks the time.
I would have played Blinks if somebody put it in front of me.
I don't
did
know. Remember
I don't
that
know,
time
you
the
really
game
hated that
glitched and
game.
you couldn't beat the game, Brandon?
Yeah, and I uninstalled it.
Yeah, you uninstalled it. We did beat Discworld. We did not beat Blinks. That's a
Yeah, well, you guys shit on my game picks apparently because
You didn't beat it.
them.
You uninstalled it.
Yeah, but I'm the only one who played more than an hour of that game.
I made it to like halfway through.
Okay.
But I'm saying we have positive things to say about Discworld. We had nothing positive to say about Blinks. We had with the thing we said with the Blinks' character model was good. That was the beginning and the end.
This game drove me to the brink of I just want to play a video game. Like I didn't feel like I was playing a game anymore.
Wow.
Okay.
The real challenger
What
for the
about
most
you,
hated
Els?
game. What's up?
What about you? Where are you thinking of putting it?
Oh, I think Other M is fair. I never played Knack or Blink, so I can't match Brandon's hatred of Blink. But
I mean, I hate Blinks,
but
but I also hated this game as well because I just wanted to play a game. I didn't feel like I was playing a game.
yeah, it
Although
sounds
Blinks made me want to kill myself while I was playing a game too. They both made me want to kill myself. So
It
I
sounds-
mean, it's hard.
it sounds
hard
like
to say.
Blinks is broken, where
It
Discworld
was.
is not completely broken.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not broken. It's not broken. It's just really fucking
yeah,
annoying.
because like Discworld.
So I'd-
Sorry, are you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying. So for that fact alone, I would put it above
Yeah.
Blink.
Because there are some good stuff about Discworld Noir. Like I will say that there are some good stuff. Like you mentioned before, the music is actually kind of good. Some of the characters are actually quite fun to listen to and just see what happens. You want to see what happens to them in that game story. So there are some good elements to it. So I wouldn't really put it below Blinks because Blinks was just kind of crap all around.
I feel like I'm the leading authority on Blinks though because
You
I
played
feel
the
like
most out of Blinks.
I played it more than anybody.
And good on you,
Yeah.
but still. It was still pretty shit. Like, I didn't like the game.
Yeah.
I didn't like the gameplay was frustrating. I didn't like the mechanics at all for that game. For Blinks.
Yeah.
Well, it had some neat mechanics. It had a lot of mechanics that were good ideas, but they were implemented.
But Brandon, remember
terribly.
when you had to restart that one level to grind for like the basic abilities in the game?
Yes. No, I mean I'm leaning towards you guys. I'm just saying, Blink's had some good. It had good ideas. Is the problem?
Yeah, it's just a very bad execution.
God damn,
Very bad execution.
you guys really
There's
hated
literally-
Sticker Star, huh?
Sticker Star is very bad.
Star is a fucking slap in the
I
face.
have no opinion on Sticker Star.
It's a literal slap in the face to everybody in the universe.
Okay, let me make a little case for my friend Knack. All right,
All right. Well, I never played Knack, so
Knack's just a
you're gonna have to convince me here.
well-meaning young man. No, Knack is not Link the Time Sweeper situation. There is like a half a good idea in Knack, and then just like a pretty middling platformer. But there's never a moment where Knack, like, where you'll be frustrated, right? You'll just sort of like breeze through it, and like, you know, there's stuff in it that is moments. There were moments where I was like, oh, that was pretty neat, or I laughed at Knack. Whereas there were way more moments of frustration for me with Discworld, so I might be willing to put it below Knack, but I don't want to be
Is Knack offensive? Did it offend you as a gamer in
No.
terms of how bad
That's
it
the
is?
thing.
No.
Like Knack, you just don't feel anything.
You don't feel Knack is apathy.
I'd rather feel nothing than feel hatred.
I'd rather feel something than nothing, honestly.
I'd rather feel nothing than suicidal.
I'm getting chills.
It's the little, like, the best way I can describe Knack was bleh.
It's air.
I've never played Knack, but from Will's explanation, I think I'd put it under Knack.
I don't know. I'm sticking with under other M. I feel like that's fair.
Same.
That's fair.
But that's, I mean, like, my opinion holds no weight here because I've never played Knack. I was just,
Me neither.
weighing in on Will's explanation. He tried.
I tried.
tried.
Gotta fight for my boy. There we go. 3-2.
There we go.
Okay. So we'll put it at number 58, Discworld Noir, and it's surrounded by Donkey Konga at number 56. Beat those fucking bongo drums, baby. We got number 57, Metroid Other M. It's a Metroid Other M, moving up a spot. Everybody give him a hand.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, you did.
We gotta do it. We're doing it.
Now, Noah's MO the whole time was to get Metroid Other M higher. Thank you. He did it.
Well, it didn't actually go anywhere. It just didn't go down.
Oh, well, in terms of the list itself, it went up a little bit higher, I guess.
The average. Yeah.
The average of it. We got number 58, of course, we got Discworld Noir, the PlayStation 1 version. The PC version we didn't play.
May it rot in hell.
May it rot in hell in the I would say Donkey Konga and below, that is hell. Number 59, we got Knack. And number 60, we got another Game Club game. Go listen to this episode, where we also are very unhappy about what we did for 2 weeks. Links with Time Sweeper.
Brandon, I thought of that reward you got from Blinks, and I kind of want to put it above Discworld at this point. What a treat that was.
Late. It's too late. The reward will live in hell forever.
Sad. Sad.
Still in the top 60. So that is it for the list section here. So we're going to move on to wrapping things up. Don't forget to, if you enjoyed the Game Club, don't forget to also listen to old Game Club episodes and to listen to the Jump Up Supercast. We record episodes weekly. We do the list. Also, it's too late for that, but follow in the paste bin below.
If you want to see the whole list,
if you want to see the list for yourself, follow in the paste bin. We'll put it in the link in the description below. Also, if you really like the list, and you're like, damn, this is a cool idea, you want to listen to the Rankomania episode where we re-ranked some games. That was fun. And then Ilzamania happened recently because we added Ilz full-time on our podcast, and he had to catch up with us in terms of adding games. So we added a bunch of games to the list. That's 2 parts because it got hot and heavy.
It got real hot and heavy. It's still hot.
Still feeling the heat. It's still not even resolved yet. We're gonna figure this out someday. But yeah, go listen to those episodes if you want to catch up on everything in the list, and also listen to every single week where we add one more game to the list on our normal Jump Up Supercast episodes. We discuss stuff about video games, what's going on. It's a fun time every single week. Find it on SoundCloud, Find us on anything RSS. We have a YouTube as well. We also have Twitch, twitch.tv/Jump Up Supercast. We got Facebook. We got Twitter. If you follow us there, you'll always get to see when the new episode goes live, so make sure you do that. And we also have an Instagram where I update it, and sometimes I post what game I'm playing before we even upload the episode, so you'd be like, oh shit, I know the Game Club game before little Jimmy does down the street. Screw you, little Jimmy, what you doing? So make sure you do that.
It's child abuse.
I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I want to thank you for listening, but I want to thank Ills.
Whoa.
I want to thank Will. I want to thank Saf. And I want to thank Noah. Thank you, Noah, for picking this game, even though it was something else.
That's what I'm here for, giving you unique experiences.
But yeah, hey, you know what? I would never played this game, and I'm never going to play it again.
Raising my blood pressure.
I played it. I played a game that I never played before, and that's what I love about the Game Club.
True that.
So, speaking of playing games, we're not done, because we got one more thing to say, and that is the next Game Club game that you'll find in 2 weeks. It's my turn, baby. Finally. Whoa. Felt like forever. Holy shit. It's what, 10 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
But here we are. My turn again. This week, we're going to play a little game.
Oh, boy.
Now, if you listen to Illsomania,
oh, boy.
Ills added the game to the list. He said, maybe we'll play its sequel someday. Well, funny thing is, that morning, I picked a game randomly out of all the games that I wanted to choose from on a random name generator. And we're going to play Win Back 2.
It has been prophesied!
Oh.
On the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. So, look forward to that. We played Win Back a long time ago, all of us together, and we recently re-put that game on the list, and we're going to play the sequel. The often forgot sequel that people don't even ever know is a thing, which I forgot until like 2 months ago when I randomly remembered. But we're going to play it. We're going to see how it was, and you're going to hear us talk about it. 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us. Go play some video games, and be nice.